tell me your name again? Your name?
Yossi Lemkovich.
Yossi?
Yossi. Alan Carr. Elan Carr, sorry. You are the newly appointed U.S. Special Envoy to monitor and combating anti-Semitism in the United States. I have three questions. The first, you are attending in Brussels this conference on fighting anti-Semitism. It's organized by the Romanian presidency of the European Union. I would like to know, how do you see the situation in Europe, and how do you view this situation, and how to try to find a solution to anti-Semitism in Europe?
Right. So, Yossi, first of all, let me say how honored I am to be here. This is my first official visit as envoy, and I should tell you that when I was appointed, when Secretary of State Pompeo announced my appointment, I was on a plane on the runway ready to come to Europe. Because for me, I wanted to get started right away, and it was very important for me to come here in person and express President Trump and Secretary Pompeo's strongest, most unequivocal sense that they are determined to fight anti-Semitism wherever it is in the world. And I'm very proud to be here representing my government to make that message very clear. And I hope that message is very clear to everyone here. Second of all, it was very important for me to be here because I really wanted to honor this conference. The fact that the Romanian presidency chose to focus on anti-Semitism as its first order of business, as president of the European the European Council, is incredibly significant. And I just want to thank the Romanian presidency for organizing this and for putting the kind of effort they have put into it. In fact, I couldn't be more thrilled with the remarks of every single Romanian representative in the European Parliament and in the Romanian government, who has been extremely strong in stating how critical it is that anti-Semitism be fought. Now, in answer to your question, Yossi, I'll say it's not only Europe, it's everywhere. Anti-Semitism is a global problem, and that's why my job is to fight anti-Semitism everywhere in the world. And that's something that I look forward to doing, to partnering with our allies and friends in Europe and throughout the world in fighting what is truly one of mankind's oldest, most enduring sicknesses, and coming together to build the kind of decent future that our children deserve.
How do you think that the U.S. can help Europe tackle this problem of anti-Semitism?
Well, I think the United States can be very helpful. You know, these are soluble problems. It's a big challenge. Anti-Semitism has been around for a long time, and the fact that anti-Semitism reached its most calamitous apex here in Europe speaks volumes about how dangerous anti-Semitism is. But, you know, I want to say something else about Europe. You know, when you look at the number of Europeans who risked their lives to save Jews during the Holocaust, who hid Jews, you know, there is a lot of people of decent minds who want to see a different Europe and want to see Europe that protects and treasures and honors its rich Jewish history. That Jewish history has been extraordinarily. I mean, it's gone back for millennia, and so many Europeans appreciate that, and many Europeans appreciate that anti-Semitism isn't only about protecting the Jews. By the way, that would be reason enough to fight it, right, with all of our efforts. But anti-Semitism really is about the kind of Europe that Europeans want to have. And they want to have a Europe that's decent and kind and peaceful, and that treasures its Jewish history and Jewish populations. And so I look forward, and our government looks forward to working with EU member states and working with the European Commission and Parliament to put forth effective programs that will change facts on the ground, that will educate young people, that will train law enforcement authorities on Jewish security, and that will truly make a difference to the Jewish future of Europe. And I believe it can be a very bright future.
But you say that anti-Semitism is not limited to Europe.
Certainly not.
What about the United States?
Well, there's anti-Semitism all over the world. You know, I was appointed only a short time after one of the worst attacks we've seen in the United States, the massacre of Jews in a synagogue praying. It was horrific, and I think the entire country was horrified, truly horrified to its core, to see that happen in the United States. So it goes to show you we're not immune. And by the way, for those who say that these sorts of acts of violence against Jews are rare in the United States, well, maybe, but I can tell you that my experience in Jewish leadership comes from what's going on campuses in the United States. And I can tell you that while acts of sort of violence that we've seen in Pittsburgh, thank God, are rare, what's going on college campuses is profoundly disturbing. The anti-Israel and anti-Zionist elements, and let me be clear, anti-Israel and anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, pure and simple, and it is causing Jewish students to feel besieged on college campuses. So we have our own work to do. Everybody does. There isn't a country in the world that's not immune. And so this is a global partnership where we come together shoulder to shoulder for the sake of a decent future and stamp out this terrible scourge from humanity. And that's our job, that's our mission, and it's God's work, and we've got to make progress.
Ilan Carr, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.